You wake up. You don't feel excited for your tasks on that particular day, so you decide to watch motivational videos to get you through. Then a miracle happens. You immediately get up and do what you have to do. It almost seems easy. So at the end of the day, you go to bed feeling like a hero because you crossed out every item of your to-do list. But the next day, when you wake up again, you feel like shit. And none of that motivation from the day before serves you anymore. Now you're doomed. You must search for more in an endless, vicious cycle. I know, I've been there too. And you have to understand that motivation is a pill. And just like any other medical pill, it's not supposed to heal you forever, but instead to make you feel good enough about yourself for a short time until the effects run out and you feel worse than you were to begin with, so that you're forced to take more. And that creates an addictive cycle that puts you in an eternal search for more motivation, as if that was the root of the problem, as if motivation was some sort of superpower that could make you get things done and achieve your goals, when in reality it has never been that. But the good thing is that there is another way, not related whatsoever to motivation, and it is quite simple, and it can help you to get things done every single day without the need for more, like an addict. But you have to understand why motivation alone is never going to help you achieve your dreams. And in order to see that, we must ask ourselves, what is motivation in the first place? Well, let's have fun here, okay? Let's play a game. Imagine that you are a car, okay? Pick your favorite car. It can be a Ferrari, a Lamborghini, it doesn't really matter. But if you look at a car, it is made out of many internal elements, right? So you have the engine, the steering wheel, the tires, the windshields, whatever. But the really interesting thing is to see that these incredible parts alone are not enough to make the car fulfill its purpose, right? Which is to take you places. And in order to really do that, the car is dependent on something external, which we call fuel. So if you want the car to have any meaning whatsoever, you have to add gas to it. And what is the problem with that? Is that you have to add gas consistently to the car, right? Otherwise, it will not take you to the grocery store, for example. And motivation works the exact same way. So you cannot depend on it alone and think that this is going to help you achieve your goals. Because on one particular day, you will feel very motivated and you do everything that you have to do, but on the next day, well, you might not. And so you see, motivation doesn't give you consistency, and consistency is exactly what's important if you want to achieve your goals. Now, the good news is that you're not a car, you're a human being. But as human beings, we also need fuel, right? We need food and water and sleep. So, as you can see, motivation is not a part of it, meaning you can be a functional human being without motivation. So, having said that, there is one last thing that you must really understand about motivation in order to see what we should replace it with. And if you really observe yourself, especially when you're searching for motivation, you will see that behind motivation there is always anger. What I mean by that is anger drives motivation. Well, let's get a practical example. Let's say that you have to exercise, but you don't feel like it. So, what most of us do, we will play that song that will drag us out of bed, or we'll watch that video or read that inspirational quote that will make us overcome every boundary that we have, every limit, and just get us through that terrible, ugly day of ours. So when you do that, what are you doing in reality? Well, you're basically using motivation, right? An external source to force you to do the things that you don't want to do. And out of that comes anger. Just like when you were a child and your mom told you to tidy your room, you didn't want to do it, but you did it out of anger or fear of what could have happened to you if you hadn't done it. And this is on a very personal note, but if I have to do something, then I'd rather do it out of love and understanding than out of sheer rage. I don't want anger to be driving my every action, even if that anger is supposedly helping me to achieve my goals. Why is that? Well, in the first place, because anger doesn't feel good, right? Nobody feels happy or excited when they're angry. It just feels uncomfortable. You just want to get rid of it, right? And secondly, because it impacts negatively the way in which you do things. And it's really easy to see that you can only do your best if you're doing something out of love. If you're doing something with care and you're getting some sort of enjoyment out of it. Whereas if you do something out of anger, well, you're basically getting things done. And getting things done does not mean doing a good job. These two things are universes apart from each other. So remember, motivation is anger. Anger hurts you, plus it won't get you very far. So, just drop it. Alright, so if motivation isn't enough to make you do things every single day consistently, and doing things every single day consistently is exactly what's gonna help you achieve your dreams, well, then what should we replace motivation with? There is really just one thing that you can do, which is to become deeply conscious as to why you're doing what you're doing. Let's try to make this idea a little bit more clear. You see, in life, and especially on the internet, you're being bombarded all the time with people telling you that you have to do this or that for this or that reason. And you and I so blindly agree with all of them. So what we're doing is we're basically letting other people's reason for doing something become our own. And you see, it's obvious why it doesn't work, right? Unless you break this loop, you will always need more and more motivation to do things. And what I mean by being deeply conscious is that you must be aware of the entire process. So let's get back to that exercising example, right? What you have to do is you should find reasons as to why exercising is important to you. And by that, I don't mean Googling it, right? Don't put like 10 reasons why I have to exercise, right? You know those kinds of things. You've heard it from other people. That's not the case. What you should do is you should sit down by yourself and figure out why exercising is important to you and how it's going to impact your life, not only now, but also in the future. And this part is supposed to be fun because there's no right or wrong answer, right? So just shut everything else out. Don't listen to anyone. It really doesn't matter now. Just pay attention to yourself and find your own reasons for doing whatever it is that you have to do. And once you really do it, man, then you really don't need anything else. Because you see, motivation blinds you, whereas consciousness, it makes you see clearly. Well, so does that mean that I will always wake up happy and very excited for doing whatever it is that I have to do on that day? No, obviously not, right? But you will see the purpose behind it, and that's really all you need. You gotta see the purpose, because you see there are so many people that go through life like they're robots, doing the things that people told them to do when they actually never stop for even a second to question it. And it's obvious why. If you're living this kind of life, well, you need motivation, right? You don't see the purpose. There's no meaning behind directions. So of course, you gotta seek for more and more motivation to get you through the day. But I'm willing to bet that that's not the kind of life that you want. Plus, let's face it, you're not a child anymore, right? You don't need a happy song or an inspirational quote to get things done, right? Just see the purpose, see the reason behind it, give a meaning to whatever it is that you have to do. And once you do it, you will have awareness over the entire process. You will be able to see it clearly. And if you can really do this, and I have to be repetitive here, really, really, really do this, then congratulations. Motivation is useless to you from now on.